Hi, my name is Michi Held. Welcome to Daily Drum Lesson. Today I want to talk to you about the difference between 6/8 and 3/4. Let's do this. Mathematically, 6/8 and 3/4 are obviously identical, but from a musician standpoint, they are very different. So let's take one bar, throw 6/8 notes in it, and what is it? 6/8 or 3/4? One could argue that this is 6/8 because there are literally 6/8 notes in it. On the other hand, we all agree that this is 4/4 and not 8/8, so one could also make a valid argument that this is one bar of 3/4. Well, as I just said, mathematically 6/8 and 3/4 are obviously identical, but from a musician standpoint, they are very different. And since this has no musical value or context, it is just 6 notes on the snare, it really doesn't matter what you call it. So let's give this some musical value by moving these to the hi-hat, throwing in a kick and a snare, and we end up with this. Three four or 6/8? Well, if it was 3/4, it should have 3 evenly spaced pulses, but it only has 2, so this is 6/8. 6/8 always has this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feel to it. Let's have a look at 3/4, and as I just said, we need 3 evenly spaced pulses for this. So we start out with a kick, and then we put a snare here and here. This has a very strong 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and feel. So this is 3/4. The difference between 6/8 and 3/4 is where the pulse is, or where we perceive the pulse. Let me show you what I mean with that. Let's take this groove. 3/4 or 6/8? Well, it depends. Just from the notation and the drums by themselves, it's impossible to tell. If this was in a piece of music, we obviously could listen to the other instruments and tell right away. But with just the drums by themselves, it's a matter of your perception, where you feel the pulse. This could either be 6/8 with a displaced backbeat, or 3/4 with one backbeat missing. Let me demonstrate that for you by playing the groove and then adding in the different pulses as hi-hat accents. So except for these very obvious grooves we started out with, this is a matter of perception. And the more syncopated a groove gets, the harder it is to define and clearly draw a line and say this is this and that is that. But long story short, 3/4 is 1 and 2 and 3 and, while 6/8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next question. What is 12/8? Well, the simple answer is 2 bars of 6/8. The more complex answer is, let's talk about triplets. Remember earlier when I said, if it was 3/4, it should have 3 evenly spaced pulses, but it only has 2, so this is 6/8. you could argue, since this has two evenly spaced pulses, this is obviously 2/4. And since we divide each quarter in 3 notes, this is obviously not 6/8, but triplets in 2/4. And that is absolutely correct. I will talk about triplets a bit more in a minute. But the important thing here is 6/8 has somewhat of a 2/4 feel. But most of the time we feel music in 4/4, so in 12/8. And again, this has to do with your perception of groove and timing and of course the musical context. But to me, this doesn't sound finished, while this does feel finished. So the difference between 6/8 and 12/8 is again just how you feel it. Do you feel the bar is over after 6/8 or after 12/8 notes? Okay, last thing I want to talk about is triplets. And here it gets really interesting, because to me, this and this is absolutely the same. It's just a notation thing. Both have a 4/4 feel with a ternary subdivision. And I'd really like to know if it's the same for you, or do you differentiate between the two? Please let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, consider subscribing. We are heading slowly but steadily towards 100,000 subscribers, which absolutely blows my mind. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye bye.